Hey everyone, Anthony Fuhrman here, two-time under 105 kilogram world's strongest man. I'm here with BarBend once again to bring you some entertaining breakdown. Today we're going to talk about the dream events I have for Strongman event. I'll give you 5 events that are my dream events, and we'll go over some of the more known ones that are done recently. And also, if you want to find this, go ahead and Google BarBend plus Strongman, BarBend plus Strongman events, and you'll find all the info you need that we provide. Go ahead and do that right now. So as you may or may not know, when you watch some of the larger events, you're going to see certain events that happen consistently, whether it be for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You're always going to have some sort of deadlift, some sort of press, generally a carry, and generally some sort of explosive movement, whether it be a stone load, sandbag load, keg over bar, something like that. So like for example, World's Strongest Man, a lot of times you will see the same events for 3 or 4 years. Same with the Arnold even. And the reason that they do this is twofold. One, they play to the strengths of the athletes. So back in the early mid-2010s, we had the rise of guys like Big Z, Brian Shaw, Eddie Hall, Hafthor Bjornsson, Jerry Pritchett started getting in there. These guys could just deadlift massive numbers and do massive yokes, massive frames, everything. So they played to these guys' strengths. It was a good show to put on. So they went with that. And now as we transition, we have the younger guys, Matoush coming up. We have Martins that came already one World's Strongest Man. Alexi, the current World's Strongest Man. We have Rob Kearney. We have Trey Mitchell. We have all these guys that don't have that superhuman giant static strength yet. So now you see events that are kind of being tailored to their strength because they are the future of the sport. So you have to give an entertaining package to the audience, to the people. And you do that by making the event suitable for the athletes. And when we talk about dream events, now, I'm a big fan of the sport. You know, I tell you, I don't know how many times I've seen that 1978 World's Strongest Man. You know, I love the history of it. I love how rich it is. I love the personalities. And I just love the sport so very much. Everyone would love a Playboy Bunny squad, but that's not going to happen no more. That's not how it works. So let's just throw that out. That's not happening. But when we're talking about dream events, my number 5, I'll go reverse order. We'll go 5 to 1. A little bit of suspense, right? I love a fridge carry. Now, whether it's the old school setup from the 70s and 80s, like Cleve Dean, rushes the sprint with that fridge, that's where Franco Colombo actually broke his leg. So maybe not the safest, but it's dope. Even in the 2000s, they did the fridge carry with Pujanowski where it almost fell on him, toppled over. They had the 2 fridges on the yoke. I think that looks cool. I think it's a good test of strength, and I think the audience really can see, like, yo, I only open a door in that thing. I don't know how I could carry it. And that's what makes the audience get involved, right? Number 4, I love anything to do with an anchor, whether it's an anchor drag, anchor carry, chain and anchor. I think it is so unique and so indicative of the sport. And it's because I always say Strongman is not a test of strength. It is an application of strength built. And what better way than picking up a boat anchor and carrying it, or dragging a boat anchor in a medley, or pulling a chain attached to a boat anchor. That is showing strength. That is showing off strength. That is testing strength. That is not strength inherently. And I love that idea. I love that event in any sort of strongman competition. Circus dumbbell is cool, but if you ever try to press a Cyr Dumbbell, I'm a big fan of them. I was with Jerry Pritchett, and he had a model done, and it was about a 205 or 210 pounder. And the way it is, the handle's beautiful. It's not super thick. The globes fit wonderfully. And it was so easy to press for me. I liked it better. And they look cool. The way the Rogue did this past year with those really shiny stainless steel ones. I love the fact that the guys had Trump weights. I love how they look, especially with the lights on them. I love how you could do a medley with them. You could do it for reps. You could do a max. There's so much you could do with them, and they look so beautiful, and it's so indicative of our sport. That's iconic, and that's why I love that globed press. Number 2 and number 1 were kind of tough because I love both of these. Arm over arm boat pull. This has been done in a couple different ways from what I've seen in competitions. There's one, I believe it at World's Strongest Man, it was like kind of like at a incline or a decline, and they pulled up like a ramp. Big Z was there. Brian was young in that one. Pujanowski was in that one. That's how I learned how to do arm over arm, watching him do it, by the way. Go look up Pujanowski do arm over arm. That's how it's done. Yeah, just pulling that boat. And it was so cool as these guys are pulling a boat. I think they did it over the water too. In the 80s and 90s, there was an event where they did arm over arm. It was a boat on water filled with stuff. And they were just pulling it arm over arm. And that, once again, like, people can look at that and be like,
yo, he's pulling a boat with his hands.
That's what tugboats are for. right? I mean, it's amazing, and that is why that event will always have a dear place in my heart. I would love to see that event back. And number one, a lot of promoters avoid this one. It's kind of coming around with the invention of the Mauser block and loadable block press, but my number one event I love is a natural stone press. This, to me, a natural stone press, in my mind, immediately I see John Paul on top of there's like a waterfall or there's a cliff over in Iceland, and it's just on top of it with a beautiful skyline, and they're just pressing these stones overhead. Just beautiful backdrop. And again, this is something that it's hard to prepare for because you can't really train on this stuff, so it's a test of your strength. People can see that. Like, I see rocks all the time when I hike or at work or wherever. I see rocks, I can see I would not be able to pick that up, let alone press it over my head like these guys. It's such a beautiful looking event, especially when you get the beautiful nature backdrops. When you tie the two in, pure fusion of a symphony of beauty in my eyes. I'm a little sadistic as well because pressing that stuff's hard, but that's okay because I like it. So those are my 5. Fridge yoke, any anchor variation, Cyr Dumbbell, arm over arm boat pull, and natural stone press. Top 5 dream events for a strongman. All right, everyone. Hey, I want to thank you for joining me and listening to me talk about my love of events. I hope you maybe learn something. Hope you are going to look up these events. Hope you Google BarBend and Strongman and get all the info you need on the sport from this wonderful staff we have here. And thank you again. My name is Anthony Fuhrman. Instagram, Anthony Fuhrman Strong. Go ahead and follow me. Follow BarBend. Do what you got to do, but we got that good stuff. And I want you to have a happy holidays, and I will see you next year.